A gentleman and his 4.5-year-old son, they went up, they started banging on the school bus windows, yelling for the driver to stop. People in this immediate neighborhood behind me are being allowed back in their homes. Earlier today, the two senators had a press conference actually right here behind me. I'm standing where the shooting actually happened earlier today. I'm going to show you who all's out here. You can see this whole area is roped off with caution tape. Hi, I'm Shaley Sanders here in Waco for the memorial service for those who lost their lives in the West explosion. A live report coming up. Security was so tight. We're parked over here in a parking lot right next to the center. There's police officers driving by. Firefighters are keeping a good eye on the crowd. Now, I actually went into the memorial service. I was searched. I went through a metal detector. Then I was escorted to my seat. When it was time for me to leave, I was escorted out. Now, if you attended the memorial, you were handed this program that has the pictures, dates, and bios of those who so bravely gave everything for their community. Zoom in on this picture. You can tell it's a Hispanic male. He's about 5'10". He's wearing a white hat, a button-down shirt, and some sort of towel wrapped around his neck.
It looks odd to walk around with a towel wrapped around your neck in this type of temperature.
Yes, Anessa, actually, I did ask them about that. They're saying he might have tattoos that they're trying to hide. It's an organized 3-step process, and this is step 1. Here at the registration table, you'll check in. You're going to receive a hairnet, a Team Ross t-shirt, and lastly, a number, which you're going to wear to enter into the Guinness Book of World Records. Take a look at this. This gravel and tar had melted onto their tires, making it incredibly hard for them to even drive their cars. They spent several hours in a parking lot trying to decide what exactly caused the problem and who would be responsible for paying for the damages. A parking lot full of cars covered in tar and gravel.
I'm driving down the loop in Robertson, and they tell you to merge over. When you get over into the middle lane, it's tar and rocks. So when you're driving in it, your car starts to shake. And when your car starts to shake, this tar just starts to fly everywhere.
Janice Jones isn't the only one who lost control of her vehicle.
As far as steering goes, it was like driving in snow.
It just felt like I was just sliding and sliding.
The steering wheel just started shaking.
Drivers pulled over into nearby parking lots where they were joined by several more East Texans whose cars were covered in the exact same mess. Even a Tyler police officer's vehicle had to be towed from the parking lot. Frustrated doesn't begin to describe how these drivers feel.
I pay taxes for the roads to be maintained and for me to drive. I mean, how am I going to go to work?
But I think I should be reimbursed for my time off for work, and I think my truck needs to be cleaned up, and I want all that off of it because it wasn't on there before. And whatever damage it did to it, I want it taken care of.
The Texas Department of Transportation tells us that construction contractors, Big Creek Construction, are responsible for paying for the damages. Janice Jones just hopes they will follow through.
I don't have any money for towing. I don't have money to fix the paint job on my car that is messed up. I don't have money to fix my tires.
The Texas Department of Transportation tells us Big Creek Construction plans to reapply the seal coat during daylight when the weather allows. Now, Joe, the Texas Department of Transportation advises you take an alternative route until this whole mess is cleaned up. I did want to point out right now, 2 lanes are closed on the loop. They do have 1 lane open. 30-year-old Desmond Black broke through the barriers trying to get to the body of 23-year-old Chris Mass. Black screamed that he wanted to see his cousin as police quickly carried him away. Naisha's father held her back when she pulled up to the scene. She tells me she's 5 months pregnant with Mass's child. Mass, a well-known football and basketball star at Chapel Hill High School, who later joined the football team at SFA, had several friends, family, and former teammates who filled the mall parking lot, searching for answers behind his death. Officer Don Martin says it all started when a Henderson man, Ricky Neal Jr., came to the mall to buy some shoes. Officer Martin says Neal Jr. then saw the boyfriend of a girl he had been talking to through Twitter and approached him.
So he went over and got into a verbal confrontation with them. Through the communications between the two, he said, let's go outside and take care of it. Let's go outside and fight. Then Chris got involved, Chris Mass, which is the one that is deceased here. He said, hey, what's going on?
Officer Martin says Mass followed the men outside to the parking lot.
As they were coming out to the car where Ricky was, Ricky then pulled out a gun. They all said, hey, you know, what's going on? We're just here to fight. And then he said, you want some of this, you want some of this, and started firing rounds.
Officer Martin says Mass was shot twice and died at the scene. We spoke to Mass's mother, who asked their pastor of 20+ years to describe her son.
Very well liked, loved by his friends. My son and he grew up playing sports together. Chris was an exceptional athlete. The most shocking is probably the fact that he really didn't have much to do with it.
The pastor says he hopes the loss felt here today will remind everyone of how precious life is. In Tyler, Shaley Sanders, East Texas News.
Okay, it's an exciting day, everybody. What do we have out there?
Dozens and dozens of ARP Elementary School students lined the sidewalk as they waited for the big debut of their brand new playground. A big hit with the kids and even with the teachers. This playground is something they say they've needed for years.
5 years ago is when they tore down the old playground.
This is where ARP Elementary School kids used to spend their recess, in this huge empty field and playing in this dirt. But now, thanks to their very generous East Texas community, all of those kids have this huge playground to look forward to every single day.
We got a playground!
And the kids already have their favorites.
The tornado. The swing and the tornado. I'm gonna have to say the tornado over there. It spins around and it's really fast.
The spinning thing right over there, those green move steps, and the swings. There's like 3 of the most popular things the kids like to play on.
A structure that's keeping both kids and adults happy.
As a teacher's thinking, it gets them using their gross motor skills and their fine motor skills and using both sides of their brain and both sides of their body.
A huge upgrade from playing with
Pretty much dirt and sticks.
And after a lot of hard work, the payoff? Making these kids smile. In ARP, Shaley Sanders, KLTV 7 News.